Good day, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope they're right, 'cause it's time for the Abnormal Barders. So, I just want to point out, I'm actually recording this a fair bit earlier. I won't be around to do the actual Barders. Yeah, it's New Year's Eve, so sorry about that. But I'll still sit here, talk about prices. I mean, at the very least, it's this Ruster. You know, there's not too much to it today, is there? Nah. But I could still talk about how you might want to approach all Christmas skins in general, basically. But of course, let's focus these skins first. Now, if you don't fully understand what abnormals are, regular skins, please consider looking in the description right now. Scroll down, look at the very top, you'll see two videos I provided. The first video, that's a 60-second short video which will quickly showcase to you abnormal skins. They become marketable at a set time, and we know exactly when it's going to happen. So basically, we could sit here right now, figure out prices to all the, for all the skins, and then of course, when the time is right, we'll race to put those barders down, and then afterwards, we'll get a good idea in regards to whether these skins actually could retain their value. However, with all of these being Christmas skins, and with it, well, pretty much being New Year's almost, I'm sure you could put two and two together and realise, you know what, maybe maybe these skins won't be holding their value because they're out of season immediately. So true. But what we'll want to do is try and figure out prices to offer where we could land it right, because of course we expect these to drop off pretty hard, but not until around March and April time. That's what we brought up when we talked about these skins when they first initially appeared, and even last week's skins, which at the moment looks like this. Some of them are still in the positive, quite a decent amount of them are starting to go in the negative, which isn't really that surprising at all, is it? So, alright, cool, understood. So, let's get started then. Gingerbread Raid Garage Door. I was expecting this to sell, well, a little bit less than this, of course with the 48-hour analysis. Let's just scroll down, look at the chapters, because of course I always add the numbers, the estimates are here. I thought that was going to do between 16 to 18,000 subscribers. What I should have considered was the fact that it was probably the most interesting skin out of the batch, being brutally honest. I mean, with the interesting art and whatnot, I should have anticipated that going up a little bit more. By tomorrow, when we see the rust rotation, the January Force Swipe rust rotation, I think they'll probably be eclipsing 19,000 subscribers. But as time goes on, is it actually going to retain that $2.49 price? No, of course not. Considering, number one, all the garage doors we saw being accepted this year, I can't help but assume we're going to see another big batch next year. Will we see equal then or more? We'll see. But, yeah, I'm expecting a lot of garage doors regardless. And, of course, with this being out of season, it's expected to drop off. And so, this is where we start talking about Christmas skins in general. Trying to figure out how low this could go probably isn't too hard of a thing to figure out. Just look at previous Christmas garage doors, for example. Gingerbread House Garage Door. You came out last year, even though before we have seen like a gingerbread themed garage door in the past. So, if I could just go ahead and look at this in the Steam market, scroll down, look at its sales history. How low did it go? Now, this actually reached its lowest point around the end of January. Even around March and April time, though, it's still pretty much down bad. Oh wow, if anything, it looks like it got even cheaper around May time. Point still remains, this got cheap, and at its lowest, it was about 70 cents. 70 to 80 cents, I guess you could say. So, alright, cool. But the main point is, if we could just look at it right now, you'll see it's much better at the moment, isn't it? And of course, in anticipation to Christmas, it was doing even better, which you can see around, well, over to here. So around 3 weeks into December, this was selling for about $2.20, $2.30. Obviously, it's not doing that right now, because of course we've already passed Christmas. But the point still remains, it rose up in price very, very, very nicely. So based on what we just saw here, we could also look at even more previous garage doors from the past. So there you go. We've got Ice Vortex. We've got Winter Spirit Garage Door. Let's just get a good look at this one, for example. It's the same thing. This has been around for, what, 2 years now? At the moment, this is selling for just over $2, which we can confirm right now. There you go. So let's just go ahead and look at sales history. So initially when it came out, it drops off real bad, and it reaches a low point around the end of March. This goes all the way down to about just over $1. So this actually worked out kind of okay initially. But then last year, in anticipation to Christmas last year, this didn't even rise up that much. And it was actually this year where it rises up a fair bit more. But looking at last year's Christmas, considering this is an older Christmas skin, it still goes down in price. And it reached its lowest point around April time. Well, this got as cheap as about 90 cents USD. So, who knows how things will turn out in the future? But with our brand new Gingerbread Raid Garage Door, perhaps initially it might not go down that much, but perhaps by next Christmas it doesn't rise up that much either. Who knows? But the common theme there, it looks to be around just under $1, where these garage doors seem to reach down to. Now, I could probably look at every single other Christmas garage door in the past. I don't really want to do that, but I do have a strong feeling that that will probably end up maybe around 90 cents. So in regards to prices to offer, I'll probably do like, I could do 60 cents to 80 cents, but I also do want to pick these up. And potentially I might not be picking them up at their absolute cheapest price, but of course, based on what I've seen with previous Christmas garage doors, it is expected to rise up even better than where it was. So, thinking about it, questioning it, I might actually do 80 cents to $1. And I'll be happy to pick them up if it's, if I end up being dumped on, I can live with that. You might not be able to, that's the big problem though. And I'm not even sitting here live. I'll actually just be discussing this with my own server. So I'm sure you can understand what I'm trying to say. I'm more than happy to grab all of these at a much cheaper price, knowing that at the very least I can flip them for about double the price later on in the year, but I have to be patient. And that's not exactly very fun, is it? No. And of course, you also need the funds. Do you have the funds? Probably not. So, the best thing you could probably do, if you can't do like bar orders today, or maybe you can still do it, it's not stopping you, you can always look at these Christmas skins, the very new ones at the very least, and even older ones, and look at them around March and April time. Because it's usually around then where we see most Christmas skins reach their new lowest point. But then after that, that's when the anticipation for next year's Christmas starts to begin, alright? So if you can't do barters today, or if you don't fully know what the best barter is to do today, just wait it out. Wait till Easter time. That honestly is probably the smartest approach. But I can take an accidental too high barter. I'll accept that. You probably don't want to do that. So perhaps the best option is, of course, wait to do just direct purchases. So, alright then, fair enough. It's up to you. Again, by the time you're watching this video, the barters would have already happened. So it probably is just a little bit reassuring to all the people now watching and listening to me, knowing that, you know what, I'll just go do some purchases around March and April time. Fair enough. So don't be too upset, okay? But at the very least, what we just showcased to you does apply to all the older Christmas skins. So maybe you don't care about these skins right here. That's fine. But I can easily go back to the past, go back to previous Christmas rush stores. All of these skins have gone back down in price again. But of course, what we've already said is that most Christmas skins reach their lowest point around March and April time. Even these ones, which came out a year ago. But based on certain performances that we saw, take for example the Gingerbread Man rug, that went all the way up to around $2.50. A good few weeks back. But of course, in anticipation to Christmas, that did work out quite nicely. But of course, I can easily see how low it went last year. So how low did you go? Well, this got as cheap as about 80 cents USD around February, early this year. So, okay. Maybe I might do like an 80-cent barter again. Who knows how much we're going to see? Who knows how many people are going to try and dump it as well? Do take that into consideration. These barters, I don't think they'll last. Do keep that in mind. But, yeah. Maybe I might have to do a slightly higher barter. We shall see. But that's up to you, alright? So, if you don't want to do barters and the brand new skins, don't miss out on the older skins as well, alright? So, just saying. They might get cheap in a couple weeks' time, a couple months' time. But, of course, you do expect them to rise up again in anticipation to Christmas 2026. So, alright, cool. Point made. Understood. Let's now talk about the Frosty's chest. This is a bit of a funny one. So, of course, the first thing I did when I first saw that was I compared it with the locker and the fridge. Locker, it went down in price. Fridge, it went up in price very nicely. Now, of course, with the 48-hour analysis, I thought that was going to do between 13 to 15,000 subscribers. At the moment, yep, smack dab. And by tomorrow, January 1st, 2026, I do believe this will be over 14,000 subscribers. But how cheap could it get? I don't know where this is going to land. I thought the locker looked really cool last year. And also, that locker, it sold less. It sold less in comparison to the Frosty's fridge. Boom, look at that. What? Again, we have seen quite a lot of locker skins recently. But it's still quite surprising. Like, just look at this. It hardly went up in price. So it crashed and burned last year. Not too surprising to hear that. But, like, from here, 80 cents, it never really went up that much. Like, even around Christmas time, quite literally just before Christmas, a few days ago, I guess you could say, it was barely $1. And now it's trending back downwards again. So that's awkward. But is this what we expect with our large box? I'm not sure. But then again, what you can do is just look at previous large boxes from previous Christmases. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Last year, we had a pretty decent couple. So, yeah, we got these two. Let's look at Christmas Eve box, because I do know for a fact this was the one that was cheaper. So, right now, this has started to drop down in price. It's sitting here at $1.21. But just a good couple weeks or so ago, this was pushing up to over $2, and I can confirm that. Look at it right there. Lovely stuff. But how cheap did you get? So around beginning of February, this was selling for about 80 plus cents, about 85 cents. It actually goes even cheaper around the end of May. So yeah, a little bit less than 80 cents it seems, perhaps. So okay, fair enough, understood. That was a perfectly fine look and design, but it did drop down pretty badly. But of course, inevitably, it went back up. So, okay, that got real cheap. What about the other one? See, this had like a bit of a collection behind it, and that might be what we care more about. So let's go ahead and... Oh, okay, that was the actual rust. I clicked the wrong thing. Whoopsie about... Sorry about that. I made a little bit of an oopsie. So let's just quickly look at this. So as you can see right here, $2.34. All right, free of sold in the past 24 hours, but then again, it's not Christmas anymore. So let's go ahead and look at your sales history. This gets real cheap around the beginning of February. Doesn't get cheaper again in the future, so all right. So, yeah, this was like comfortably above $1 for a very long time. And then after that, slowly starts to rise, and it peaks all the way up to about $3. Maybe this is the type of behavior we expect more of. And again, we can also check and see how much sales did you have. So that did 11,200. This did 19,300. Okay. So what we can deduce from there, this had a collection behind it. This didn't. This also sold quite a lot more compared to this. So, all right. Based on what I see over to here, all right, well, fair enough, based on what we see, I would like it to perform like the fridge. I feel like that's wishful thinking. But what I think will happen, realistically speaking, is this will end up between these two. It's not going to end up being $4+ like this is. It's not going to go all the way down to less than $1 like this is. I feel like that at its worst might end up just about like $1 or so. And I'm happy with that. I'm fine with that. Didn't sell ridiculously, looks awesome, glows in the dark, the transparent design. I have asked the skin creator, would you consider doing a sheet mid door next year? And they sound pretty interested. But we've got to wait a year, so fair enough. So in regards to what I see here, I might give you a bit of a big range there, but then again, I might just say 80 cents to $1. Because for me, if it gets cheaper than $1, I'm not going to be upset with that. I'm more than happy to wait. I bought a bunch of those Christmas Eve large boxes earlier this year. I'm talking early 2025. And yeah, it did get cheaper. But guess what? It also went up in price. So it's a bit unfortunate in the moment. But you've always got Christmas to, save you. So how you approach that's totally up to you. But yeah. And again, if you're watching the actual video like tomorrow, New Year's Day, yeah, I hope you didn't drink too much. If you weren't the fastest barder, you could still put like a barder at a later time, You can always offer a stronger barder, a higher price barder. Again, this is going to get cheap. We don't fully know how cheap it's going to get. But we always can expect that at some point in the lead up to next year's Christmas, it will rise up ever so nicely. How high will it go? Well, I certainly hope it goes back up to its rust-or price. And that's why I'm more than happy to offer a decent price. But at the very least, we have that comfort, okay? So I'll probably offer around 80 cents to $1. Maybe $1.10. Maybe I want to go a little bit more stronger with it. I also anticipate next year the possibility of seeing the fourth Frosty's deplorable. So, right, cool. What else is there? Wow, okay, so there's a lot of skins that are not abnormal this week. Do remember, so. Down over to here. Neon Snowflake Small Box. The Neon Snowflake collection is a bit of a funny one. When this appeared last year, this went all the way up to $4. When this appeared this year, both of these stayed in the negative. So, oh look, it's another garage door. And of course, a large box. But in terms of small boxes for Christmas, we don't really have that many options, and I'm definitely well aware of that. Now, again, we're going to see that familiar collection. What do you mean, Hedge? I'm talking about, oh, there you go, Neon Christmas. So this only did about 15,600 subscribers. Last year, I'm pretty sure we got that given away for absolutely free. What have we seen in the past? Scroll. And when we have seen Festive Stickered Storage Box, that did about 15,000 subscribers. But I'm looking at this, it's only got 6. What? That is next to nothing. Okay, well, was I expecting that? Let's just quickly confirm. So, Poncho, SMD, Rockstar, small box, 5 to 7,000 subscribers. Whoa, okay then. It was expected. Interesting. There's not that many of it to go around. Interesting. So do you know what's likely going to happen in this particular instance? This very likely will rise up in price very quickly when the demand is there. And so, of course, with it having a bit of a collection being built up, what do you reckon? Could this rise up in price ever so nice in the lead up to next year's Christmas? But don't forget, we also saw that really cool sleigh design from the previous week. Well, he's already gone down by a quarter of its price. What? Really? Well, again, you know, it's instantly out of season, so we shouldn't be too surprised by that. But that also sold how much? Yeah, almost 15,000 subscribers. So it's one of those situations where it's like, perhaps a lot of people did prefer that design. Transparency in it is very nice and creative. Sorry about my phone. So, I feel like that might be the one that ends up being cheaper. So due to a sheer lack of sales, and again, the second we start anticipating Christmas again, that very likely will rise up ever so nicely and pretty quickly, and honestly, I might do a stronger bargain on that now. I'm pretty confident to a point. Yeah, it depends if, you know, you also feel the same. So we'll see what becomes of that. Sorry about that. New Year's messages, typical. Sorry about that. Okay, so anyway. You're looking interesting. I think I might offer a higher price for you. And again, you might sit there and say, what if I get dumped on? Well, you might end up with the majority of the stock. I might offer like $1 to $1.20 for that. I'm very curious. Again, the sheer lack of sales. Very, very interested. So, if you're watching this the next day and the rush still hasn't yet rotated, and if you go look at the borders and you can think, oh, well, that, that doesn't seem to be looking like it's going to drop off that much. Well, you can go offer a higher barter if you want to. So, all right, I might accept the possibility of being dumped on, but in the lead up to next year, in terms of all the Christmas small boxes we don't really have that many. So I'm very curious about that. All right, I'll keep an eye on you. And then we have beds. So, of course, last week we had the crunchy bed, the gingerbread. I'm not going to stop calling it gingerbread. That only did 7,000 subscribers. Yes, it's already starting to go down in price. Are we surprised? No. But how low will it go? This is another instance of a low-selling skin where it's just like, well, yeah, it's out of season, but with a sheer lack of sales, how many listings do you actually expect at some point? Is this going to get dumped? Or is it even going to ever have more than 50 quantity on the Steam market? I don't sound so worried about that. And then look at the borders. Is it ever going to crash and burn and go all the way down to $1? Could it ever go all the way down to like 80 cents? I don't think so. I honestly don't. So looking back over to our other brand new Ice Vortex snowy design, yes, that has even less sales. And by tomorrow, I don't think it will be eclipsing the crunchy bed. Both of these beds, by the way, both of them, because we've never had Christmas beds in the past, they're in a very, very, very interesting spot. Because, of course, in anticipation to next year's Christmas, they're the only beds that people are going to want to buy. In anticipation to Christmas, for Christmas, if you know what I mean. So, again, this is also looking to be a very interesting skin to consider chasing after. And I might actually jump in and do a pretty decent bargain on it. Oh, no, I've been dumped on. Well, guess what? Around November and December time next year, I'll be the one who's laughing. So, again, if you're watching this video on Thursday, the 1st of January 2026, go look at that skin right now in the Steam market and start making the consideration that maybe you want to put down a pretty decent bargain, okay? It's totally up to you, but I feel like that's a pretty strong thing to say. So for you, I might offer like $1 to $1.20 as well. Yeah, I'm still going halfway. I still expect people to like unload their stock for whatever they have, but I don't really want to go below $1. I think that actually might be a pretty interesting thing. I might be happy about that. So you might dread, oh no, I might have about 100 thrown at me. I don't think you'll have that happen. So questioning how much quantity I want to offer as well, I mean, yeah, I've got to think about that. But that might be the second thing I chase after today. Again, I'm not sure I'll be around for the actual midnight, but we'll see how it goes. So, all right, looking interesting. Happy with that. Is that it? We only have one more? Okay, well, Christmas Candy Handmade LMG. Last week, we had another Christmas theme Handmade LMG with a transparency, of course. How's that currently holding up? Oh, okay, it's down in price. Do people actually appreciate the handmade LMG itself. Based on what I heard with responses, people just like, you know what, I don't like it because of the aim sight. It covers too much of the screen. Well, you got 3 options now. You got the blackout handmade LMG at $3. You've got the Elven made handmade. Lost my tongue. Elven made handmade LMG at priced around $2 at the moment, and then you got this brand new one at $3. I will not be surprised in the slightest this drops off and goes down to $2 as well. That honestly wouldn't surprise me. However, over the course of 2026, how much more handmade LMGs are we going to see being made and accepted, and Twitch drops and Kick drops? How many of them will have transparency as well? I'm not sure what to expect, but we'll see how it goes, all right? We'll see how it goes. I kind of don't want to go too strong on this, and I might just stick with a 60-cent to 80-cent barter just to be safe, if you know what I mean, because I don't know what to expect. But I do believe we will start seeing more and more and more options for handmade LMGs and more options with transparent aim sights. I don't think that'll be special forever. So yeah, just out of precaution, I'm going to play it safe in that. So of course, with tomorrow's roster rotation, we have a lot of skins here that will become marketable, with them being regular skins. But we have to wait until the actual roster rotation happens. Christmas Root AK-47. What am I going to offer to you? I might just do about 60 cents to 80 cents for this as well. It's a perfectly fine, colourful, lovely looking design. But then again, AK-47s for Christmas, oh, it can be really, really bad. Down 56, down 60, and we just had Christmas. They're down that bad. But then for every bad skins, we do, well, couple skins I should say, we do tend to have one that actually works out quite alright. Gingerbread Man AK-47, that actually rose up into the positive very recently. But for every good AK for Christmas, there's multiple bad ones, unfortunately. So yeah, let's just quickly look at you. If we could just quickly get confirmation. What price did you sell for last year? You sold for $2, and right now you're sitting there at $1.84. Not that bad, to be honest with you. And then let's look at your sales history. So it did take a while to get to that nice high point, but even last year it was doing pretty good. People did appreciate this, but it still drops off all the way down to about 70 cents. Ha. So if this is an AK that worked out quite alright eventually, right? I mean, it still drops off, doesn't it? Last year, how low did you go? Well, actually, it got as low. It reached its lower point. Oh, wow. It reached its lowest point around October time. But then after that, okay. Well, it looks like 70 cents seems to be a perfectly fine thing. So 60 cents to 80 cents. I could look at the Snowflake AK, for example. There's a lot of AKs like this that go down to less than $1. Like this, just barely over $1 at the moment. But scroll. How's your history been? Oh, okay. Yeah, it usually looks like that. So, yes, this all the way down to 80 cents. Last year for Christmas, it went just barely over $1, and it goes back down again. So, yeah. Christmas AK-47s, there's not much to expect. Sometimes they turn out really nice. Sometimes, or most of the time, they turn out not very nice. So, based on what I just looked at, I think for you, I'm probably only going to offer 60 cents to 80 cents. Chocolate bar sheet Matador, I mean, in the past, we've seen some very cool looking glow in the dark sheet Matadors for Christmas. In some instances, we don't get ones that glow, and unfortunately, the ones that don't glow, they don't turn out very nice. Let's just quickly find one from quite some time back. So we do know for a fact, Christmas Miracle sheet Matador, that rose up a price ever so nice, didn't it? We were hoping for a collection continuation, but it didn't happen. Even Snowfall Door from last year, that did work out quite alright. So as you'll see, last year it goes all the way down to about 80 to 90 cents. And what we just saw around Christmas time, it went all the way up to about $1.30. Not ridiculously high price, but still improved is what I'm saying. But when it comes to a non-glowing design, you end up with large present sheet Matador. It's sitting there at 80 cents at the moment. And you might sit there and say, but Hedge, Christmas has passed. True, but you should still expect a better price. So look and see, oh, okay, so what's happened here? Oh, wow. When that came out, Christmas 2023, around March 2024 time, this went all the way down to about 30 cents USD. And then Christmas next year, it only got up to about 60 cents USD. It goes back down again, and it reached a new low point. October time, this went for about 40 cents USD, and only very recently did it go all the way up to maybe around $1. So non-glowing sheet Matadors for Christmas, honestly, it's just not looking, it's not looking pretty. So with you, Uh, I might only offer 30 cents. I mean, you could offer up to 40 cents. We'll see how it goes, but I'm not expecting that many listings. So maybe don't even offer that much quantity either in regards to your buy order. But I'll probably just sit there and say 40 cents. Scarf poncho. I need to see a collection continuation next year. It's going to be odd because with this being called scarf poncho, for like a proper collection to be built up, you're going to have to call things scarf. Scarf bandana. Scarf hat. Yeah, that might not work very well. Scarf hide clothing. Scarf burlap. I don't know. I can't help but assume you're going to drop off, and for that, I'm probably only going to offer 30 cents to 40 cents. Hide ponchos in general, not exactly doing super great. And Christmas ones, 30 cents to 40 cents. Gingerbread Man SAR. We just got a SAR skin game. Well, take a look at this. We literally just got one for free. That's mostly white with a nice, interesting red aim sight. I mentioned this to a lot of people. You could compare that to the comics SAR. It's honestly not too bad of an option. Just saying, just saying. So, with you, let's just remind ourselves, previous Christmas SARs, like the Snowflake SAR, this didn't rise up that much. It's basically around just under $1 at the moment. Look at this. Much like with the AK, it's not looking very pretty. No, it's not. It barely moved. So, yeah, let's just go look for another Christmas SAR. There you go, Snowy SAR. It's down to half its price. Just barely under $1 at the moment. Pretty much the same thing. Doesn't really change that much. Around here, it's like $1.20. Interesting. But other than that, didn't really change that much. So, based on what I see here, I'll probably only offer like 60 cents to 80 cents. I don't have that much faith, I'm sorry to say. I don't feel very confident, so yeah. Gingerbread rock. With so many like silly face and animal design rocks over the past year, I'm not feeling very confident with you. Also, do take into consideration that thing rock for what we saw for Halloween. Okay. But right now, you're basically about half your price. That probably gives me a good indication. Now, last year, we also happened to get Polar Bear Rock. But that was a pretty goofy animal design. What we have here is just a gingerbread. How low did this go? Let's just quickly find out about that. So scroll. At your lowest, you went all the way down to like wow, you've always been like $1.50. Interesting. I don't think the gingerbread will be doing that, though. So do we have any other Christmas options? I mean, the Santa sack. Santa's sack has not risen up in price that much at all. So, yeah, this has been around for a while. This sold for, what, $2? And it's basically been sitting at around like 80 cents to 90 cents for all of its existence. That very likely could be what happens to the gingerbread design. So, I think I'll probably only offer 60 cents to 80 cents. Sorry to say, but I don't feel that confident. Gingerbread wooden double door. Well, here's hoping that we go back to normal with wooden double doors and just don't see that many of them being accepted, let alone being submitted. Before we saw it becoming the focused item for the month of August 2025, they were a very rare sight to see. And yet this year, suddenly, tons of wooden double doors. But even then, even after all that happened, these have started to rise back up in price, and this is getting there, right? With you, honestly, with only 6,000 subscribers, I would like it to end up like this, but that doesn't glow in the dark. But this still rose up very nicely. Let's just see how you perform, because of course this is a previous Christmas wooden double door. Right now, even though Christmas has come and gone, sitting here about $3. And as you can see over to here, it's had some highs, it's had some lows. So over to here at its lowest, so this came out Christmas 2023. At its lowest, it goes all the way down to about like $1. And then in anticipation to next year's Christmas, it rises all the way up to about $2.20-ish. Goes back down again. And then, well, to my surprise, this actually peaks in July time. I'm not sure why, but very recently, it did go all the way up to and above $3. So it took a while to get to a nice spot, but it did drop off pretty badly initially. And this also glows in the dark. So what am I going to say? Basically, in regards to what I see here, at $1.49, I can't help but assume you will be going to like less than $1. But then again, I wouldn't mind picking you up. I also don't expect that many. Again, 6,000 subscribers. By tomorrow, at best 7,000, we shall see. So, I think I might offer like 80 cents to $1 there. Will I be dumped on? I wouldn't be surprised. Will I be happy with the potential profits next year? I hope so. But how many will I actually pick up? Again, you might not want to offer too much quantity with your barter. We'll see how that turns out, alright? But it is looking interesting. Gingerbread bow, 60 cents to 80 cents. I don't trust it. Sorry to say. I just don't trust bow skins in general. I mean, you can think otherwise. You're more than welcome to do so. I just don't trust them. Sorry. Yeah. Alright. Xmas Blast double barrel shotgun. Have we had a Christmas double barrel shotgun before? Let's just kind of. Do we? Yep, there we go. Sweet surprise. It's down by 41%. What? Are we surprised? Not really. What with its name? Anyway, in the past I have seen it rise up quite nicely, but this did initially drop off. But in anticipation to next year's Christmas after it came out, it only went up by, well, only went up to about 90 cents. But then the Christmas after that, seems it went all the way up to $1.30. But then the Christmas after that, which was this year, I mean, it basically only went up to like $1.10. I don't fully trust double barrel shotguns. Take one quick look at all of them and you'll notice the vast majority of them are down pretty bad. So if you, I mean, you've sold next to nothing. In anticipation of Christmas next year, could you work out not quite all right? We'll see. But to be honest with you, I don't really expect that many to be listed. So actually, it might work out quite all right to a point. I think I'll probably still stick with like a 60 cent to 80 cent barter. But maybe I want to push up to like 70 cents to $1. I don't expect that many listed. But I also don't expect it to rise up that much either. So we'll keep an eye on you. But I also don't really have that much faith. I'll probably just stick with 60 cents to 80 cents. So that is essentially everything. Like I said, you might not be super enthusiastic with the skins that we see here, but you can always go on SMM and just easily look at the past. So click the time notch in the top right, and I'll just skip back to like Christmas 2023. Yeah. So, yeah, Santa's coat, not too bad of a shout, rose up quite nicely. Gingerbread bear rug, that's been around for a while, but then again with the recent brand new bearskin rug, maybe that won't rise up so high next year. We'll keep an eye on you. Frosty's fridge, I mean, we talked about you earlier. This was actually pushing over $5, for example. Has been trending downwards recently. With the possibility of another Frosty skin next year, perhaps you might rise up even higher again. So we'll keep an eye on you. But last year's Christmas, let's just quickly remind ourselves. Here we are. This is what I'm looking for. Maybe we want to offer a decent price, but then again, it's still like $2.50 there. How low will you go? Let's just get a good look at you. But do you see what I'm doing? I'm learning from the past where it ended up before, but also considering how well it could do next year's Christmas with another collection continuation. Maybe I want to offer like $3. Hold on to a few, wait it out, and then flip it for even higher price. It's a bit pricey, so it might not be for everybody. So I don't blame you if you want to just kind of like step away from that. But yeah, just look around, see past Christmases, look at those older Christmas skins, learn from their past, see how they've held up previously, and make considerations. So, all right, cool. Right then, so what to expect for January 1st, 2026? I can confirm to you, the focused item of the month for January 2026 is the combat knife. Quite a lot of combat knives have been posted. I think about 25 in total. So, let's be real here. I think we've got plenty of options to choose from. However, is it going to be a case of we see a combat knife like every single week? Because I was kind of expecting like a snow jacket and a pair of tactical gloves to be accepted for every single week in December. That didn't happen. But then again, it kind of wouldn't surprise me if we see some tactical gloves and a snow jacket tomorrow. But first of all, just acknowledge, due to a sheer lack of skins being made and accepted, nearly all of the combat knives are in the positive. But based on what we've seen in recent past with all the recent focused items of the month, wooden double doors, salvaged ice picks, miners hats, with so many skins being accepted in such a short amount of time, they tend to drop off and go down in price, don't they? So whilst these brand new combat knives might be pretty cool initially, be prepared. Do not be surprised if they drop down in price, alright? Okay, that's to be expected. But at the very least, if you see a cool knife and you want it and you want to buy it, by all means buy it, use it, enjoy it, support the skin creator, and yeah, that's a treat for yourself. So, alright, cool. But what about like other skins? Well, I can confirm to you, in the past 2 weeks, in terms of regular skin submissions, we've seen a lot of space-themed skins being produced. Like, considering the recent LR300 DLC, considering the brand new building skin, a lot of very interesting designs have been made. Like, take a look at the Starship porthole, not pothole. But yeah, that looks awesome when you add it to like the building skin there. So, and it's not just that. We've also got doors. We've got plenty of very cool looking designs. We just don't know what's actually going to get accepted. Could we even see a space-like design being accepted? That's a good shout. After the peaks were removed, I can't help but assume Facepunch might want to give this a bit of a boost. So accepting like door skins to pair up with it probably would be a good shout. So we'll see what becomes of that. We'll see what becomes of that. I don't know how many people are going to turn up tomorrow. Currently, as you can see here, December had a pretty good solid amount of people turning up. Over 105,000, of course, in just like several hours from now. It might change a bit, but of course, you know, that's fine. 105,000 is fine. But if you were to compare to the previous year, December 2024 was higher. That is definitely true. We are fully well aware of that. Don't assume everything's done for, though. Perhaps January 2026 won't be as good as January 2025. But if we still see over 200,000 people turning up tomorrow, that's still good. If we still see almost 120,000 people for the month on average, that's still good. I'm still expecting some positives. I'm still expecting some nice price rises in general. And of course, I've already been sending my Christmas I've already been sending my Christmas skins and my regular skins. Of course, before Christmas, I tried to sell as much as I could at a reasonable pace. But of course, now it's still post-Christmas at the moment. You can still sell your skins right now. But then again, by the time you're watching the video tomorrow, it's already the 1st of January. You get the idea. But I have held this fort. So if I could just switch back over to here. I've already made some videos talking about this. In fact, I posted one like yesterday. But I have talked about selling my skins now. I have tons of them. It honestly wasn't too bad of an idea to consider selling now. I've already talked about that. In like the past 4 or 5 days, I made about $2,000 already just by selling skins. $2,000 worth of funds on my Steam accounts. And then, yeah, I talk about how I've started buying things as well, because it will get to a point. You'll have far too many funds on one of your accounts, so you will have to start buying things just to be able to continue selling things. In this video right here, I even talk about things you could consider looking at. I need to start buying some of those sandbox skins. What on earth do you mean, Hedge? Consider watching this video, all right? Might help you out. So, all right, cool. So, yeah, post-Christmas, it really does feel like, as of tomorrow, it's going to get even better. All skins in general, with lots of people playing, they are all expected to improve, rise up in value, and of course, it's the best time to consider selling your skins now, all right? It might be a bit funny, considering tomorrow's New Year's Day, and, well, you know, how many healthy people are going to be up and ready for the Force Fight tomorrow? Have fun, Americans. So we'll see what becomes of that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's everything. So thank you very much for watching this so far. And now, I'll skip ahead. It won't be me doing the bar orders, but it will be me looking at the skins afterwards. But to be honest with you, we don't really expect that much because it's Christmas skins, so yeah, whatever. All right, anyway, skip ahead. And now, several hours later, it is early in the morning. How you doing, everybody? So, yeah, the skins became marketable. And as we go over to here, can confirm, Gingerbread Raid Garage Door, the bar does only go up to like, well, let's say about $1.30, which, to be honest with you, not too bad. In the grand scheme of things, it might drop even lower than that. Like, you do have to take into consideration, some people here, they might get a little bit scared when suddenly like 10 of them appear in their pocket and they're like, oh no, I can't afford this, and they'll just unload and remove their buy orders. So don't be surprised if it does go all the way down to $1 and potentially less. We'll see how that turns out, but yeah, with its cool design, its awesome art style, like in anticipation to next year's Christmas, I look at that with a bit of confidence, but I still expect it to drop off. So yeah, not too bad is basically what I'm saying. And I'd just like to point out, it's almost 19,000 subscribers already, so fair enough. Ice Vortex Bed. I kind of came to a conclusion that it might actually be pretty interesting. We only have 2 Christmas beds. Both of them have not sold that much. And how they're going to look in anticipation to next year's Christmas. Well, you got to wait a while, don't you? Keep an eye on this, though. And with the barders, it definitely does not look like it's going to retain its value. That's for sure. But eventually, it might climb back up again. So this is a $2.49 skin, but the barders, they only go up to about $1. It basically stops around there. Well, that's looking interesting, I will say that. And of course, Frosty's chest. A bit of a question. Will you end up like the fridge, or will you end up like the locker? As of now, with the barders it has, it's not going to be like the locker. It definitely looks like it'll be smack dab in the middle. But again, based on what I just said a little bit, like 2 minutes ago, not everybody is super confident to keep their barders up. And also, how many people are going to be eager to go ahead like unload their stock, considering that it's now, well, out of season immediately. So we'll see how that turns out. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, keep an eye on this, all right? It's interesting, but it could easily slip and end up like the locker. So I'm sure you've been warned. But if you haven't done your barders yet, take that into consideration. So yes, this also is below its rush door price, and it doesn't look like it's going to retain its price as expected. Neon Snowflake small box. Well, looking at all of these, to be honest with you, yeah, it's looking pretty decent. Again, very low sales. It does look pretty interesting in the future. And if we do see more Neon Snowflake skins being produced and accepted in the future, it's only better for that, isn't it? So, not too bad as of now. Looks like everybody by default stuck with around halfway. Prices going about halfway based on the price they're selling for in the rush store. I didn't record or stream anything that other people have seen. People's intuition, this is right here, so alright, cool. Seems people kind of get a good idea on how to approach this. So, Christmas candy handmade LMG, what price are you selling for? You're selling for, well, you're $3 and you've only got 4,300 subscribers at the moment. You're going to be interesting. But if we do see more transparent aim sight handmade LMG skins being, well, for sale, you know, in future rush stores, and of course if we get them as Twitch drops and kick drops, alright, this very likely will be suffering. But is it guaranteed that's going to happen? What do you reckon? We'll see how things turn out. So, yep, that's everything. That's all the abnormals. All of them do look like, and it's very much expected, that they'll drop off and pretty much drop off pretty badly at some point. Again, though, they can only go down so low at a certain point, and then after that, we start anticipating the next year's Christmas. Yes. So, alright, cool. With the barders that we've done, we've essentially already prepared for such a thing. But looking at these again around March and April time, couldn't say no to that. So, alright, cool. So that's it. That's a wrap. It is now time for post-Christmas. The December 2025 average player count was 105,000. It is lower in comparison to December. Is it the end of the world? No. I'm still optimistic. I'm still feeling very confident that tomorrow we'll have over 200,000 peak players. But what do you reckon? Will the peak player count for this weekend be Thursday, or do you reckon it'll be Friday and Saturday? How many people are going to be healthy for tomorrow? What do you reckon? We'll see how that goes, right? So, I really should get some sleep. But just to point out, I'm not streaming tomorrow. I'm still taking my break and I'm enjoying myself. I needed a vacation. I needed to just stop for a bit. Well, I've got to say it's quite enjoyable. So, alright, cool. Understood. We should expect an early rush to rotation tomorrow, right? Do keep that in mind. Considering it's a force wipe, we should probably expect the rush to rotation to happen between like 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening UK time. So basically, that'd be like, oh well, here we go. God, is it really that hard to think right now? Well, I'm tired. Shut up. Basically, in about 15 hours from now. But I don't know why I'm saying it in such a way because I'm not streaming to anyone. So, I mean, you get the idea. I'm from the UK. I know when the times usually happen in the UK. And of course, with Face Punch being in the UK, everybody should work around that. So, yeah. Just figure out London time tomorrow, 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening. All right? So, that's all you got to do. And that's what I'm expecting. Now, I'm not expecting any DLC. Just expecting like a straightforward update. We'll see how things turn out. And of course, we'll figure out or find out. Oh, that's not. Well, that's something I'll probably talk about in a second. But yeah, we will be finding out what gets accepted tomorrow. I will not rule out the possibility of seeing some extra late picks tomorrow. skins that are submitted before Christmas. So we'll see how that turns out. And of course, right now, you've got to start looking at all your skins in your inventories. I've been doing it. Like, let's just switch over to here. You might question, how come Hedge was looking at a Counter-Strike skin? I'm looking at things that I can buy so I can continue selling. Because I have been doing a very good job selling my Ruskins at the moment. And now that it's actually January 4 swipe time, I can't help but assume things are only going to get better. So you might notice, hang on a minute, your money went down. Yeah, because I've been buying Sandbox skins. If you have the faith that Sandbox will be somewhat successful, like even if it only had 10% of the success that Roblox has, I mean, that's still incredibly great. And if the game does work out, and if it does get a big, huge player count, I mean, all of these limited time skins potentially might be rising up in price ever so nicely. So yeah, that was a bit of a long-term investment, but I needed to act now because they are going to be removed as of tomorrow. They will no longer be available to be bought. The only way you can get them is by buying them from the Steam market. So okay, fair enough. We'll see how that turns out in the future. But I did kind of point this out in a recent video where I was talking about post-Christmas. So it was this one from yesterday. So whilst this was the first video, it's the second video where I bring it up, talking about things that you could consider buying. So yeah, 48-hour analysis, you're a little bit off, but not too bad. If you want to be well aware of all the recent Rust Workshop skin submissions as of this past weekend, please consider watching my Rust Workshop skin checks for December 30, 2025. And whilst you're here, if you have the time, please consider watching this video. Rust Skin of the Year for 2025. I do a nice little showcase of all the finalists. We're trying to find out who is truly the winner for 2025. So everything's chaptered. You should know how that works. And to be honest with you, I need to go lie down. I think I'm done for today. So I've put out the message. December and 2025 has wrapped up. The average player count, it wasn't as good compared to December 2024. But I still feel optimistic. If it's not as good as the previous year, it doesn't matter. So as long as it's almost as good, we should still expect some great success. Alright? Best of luck with your inventories, your sales, and your profits. I really do hope it works out for all of you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, comment below, how high do you reckon the player count will be over the course of this weekend, the January 4 swipe weekend for 2026. There you go, I had to remember the year. God, you're a little bit slow today, Hedge, aren't you? It's late, shut up. Anyway, start looking around for interesting things to consider investing into. This will not last forever, alright? But again, whilst we expect prices to drop off again and reach a low point around March and April time, around the Easter time, inevitably prices will go back up again around the summertime. So prices may be up at the moment, but they will go down again. So maybe try and get those sales in whilst you can, so that you can buy the skins again for a cheaper price around March and April time. It's not too hard to consider, just pointing it out. So right, that's it. That's everything. And don't forget about considering investing into discontinued Counter-Strike collections. That's also a very nice long-term option. But anyway, focusing Rust. The sales are okay, but now we start anticipating for next year's Christmas. Well, I mean, we've still got to wait for March and April. So, all right, cool. That's it. That's a wrap. So thank you very much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. Have fun tomorrow. Try your best to be nice and alive. And yeah, I'll catch you later. So have a good one. See ya and goodbye.